Okay, so this is song number 3 of The Wall, and I just finished listening to number 2, which is The Thin Ice, and this one is titled Another Brick in the Wall, Part 1. So, as I noticed at the end of Thin Ice, I feel like it was meant to go straight into this. Of course, I paused because I'm taking one by one. So, let's see how it goes.
Dad is flown across the ocean, leaving just a memory. A snapshot in the family album. Daddy, what else did you leave for me?
Interesting, that line, a snapshot in the family album. I was trying to figure out, what is the music doing here? It's very different from the songs that came before it. And it has this sort of echoing off in the distance, a little bit artificial. I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean, it's very much modified from the real sound of the instruments. There's echo. It's like you can tell it's been doctored up in the studio, of course, intentionally. And I was trying to figure out what's that about. But I guess we got to the line, a snapshot in the family album, and I suddenly felt like, oh, it's portraying this sort of memory or recollection which is no longer actually present. So I wanted to say that before it goes on, because I'm learning very quickly that this music changes fast, and if I forget to say it, it's gone. Anyway, so let's back up just a little.
Daddy, what else did you leave for me? Daddy, what you leave behind for me? All in all, it was just a brick in the wall. All in all, it was all just bricks in the wall.
So I guess this is the first time that I'm hearing this brick in the wall verbalized in this work. And where right here where it went that really desperate, Daddy, what'd you leave for me? It sounds like he's looking for something, he's searching for something. And then just a brick in the wall. What wall? Well, I did read a bit, as I said. And so I understand this is a wall of isolation building up around him. And it's so sad that that's just all he felt that Daddy left for him. Just a brick in the wall. Another another piece to add to his isolation and cutting off from those around him. Okay, but I want to go on. I see there's a sort of solo section coming up, perhaps. I'm going to try not to interrupt it unless I feel an urgent need to.
It's all just bricks in the wall.
Okay, but I do have to interrupt it because it's this same type of music going on. Maybe it's not a guitar solo like you all love to hear and don't want me to interrupt. There are children in the background, children's voices. And it still has this very reflective, undirected feel to it. It's just setting a mood, an atmosphere. But the children's voices somehow seem like they are very important. I don't know why yet. But is it some juxtaposition of this reflection on daddy? Is it the life of a child under the influence of all the things that have happened to him and in his life, out of his control, but still the childhood goes on? I'm not exactly sure, but I notice it and I want to remember it. So I'm just going to make a note here that this section has children playing. Kind of all in this section, but I'll just put a note there. Okay, I guess we're almost to the end of this. Okay, so this one must go straight into the next song as well. This is like a book that you just can't stop at the end of a chapter. You've got to turn the page to the next one. Okay, and I'm also hearing in this whole long ending section where there is no singing, no lyrics, you become aware of this pulse that's happening in the bass line. And I'm trying to figure out, is it heartbeat? Is it time marching on? Is it the inevitable building of this wall? What is it? I don't think that it's just there for the sake of atmosphere alone. But this is my first time hearing this music, and probably a lot of things I will not be able to place right away. But again, that's something I notice, and I think it's going to be important. So I'm just going to say heartbeat / march / pulse, just things that I want to remember, I want us to notice, and I want to figure out how they fit in the grand scheme of things. Okay, so that was Another Brick in the Wall, Part 1, which is the third song in this album. And we'll see what comes next.